Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back. We are going to be doing a fun episode with Chef Dara Yu. And so, whenever we have a chef, usually it's because my sister is connected to the culinary industry. So we have Caryl along again. Hey Caryl, what's up?
Hello. Nice to be here.
I saw you just got back from Hawaii.
I did.
What are you working on there?
So there's a resort there on the Big Island called the Manalani. And last year was the first year, so this was the second. We started a kind of a culinary weekend, but we fly in some of the biggest name chefs, people like Andrew Zimmern and Stephanie Izard and Nancy Silverton. I feel like I'm name dropping, but
Yeah,
But it is kind of amazing. And then we also include a lot of the local chefs, so Sheldon Simeon, Leanne Wong, Robin Mai. We did a really cool event this year. It was a luau where we invited 4 chefs from the Big Island to cook like an authentic version. A lot of the hotels do these luaus and they're very touristy and it's kind of buffet hotel food. This was really amazing to watch these guys do their authentic take. And it was all pidgin English in the kitchen. Like it was a very different atmosphere than most kitchens I'm in.
Fun. But today we are speaking with a friend of yours,
Yes.
Chef Dara Yu.
Yep.
When did you first meet Dara?
So I guess technically I had her food, but I did not meet her. A friend of mine from New York moved here to LA and was a producer on MasterChef, and Sandra Ciccone. And she reached out to me and she's like, listen, okay, between us, we're doing a junior MasterChef. Nobody knows. And do you want to come be a diner for the restaurant takeover battle? And I'm like, sure. She's like, okay, you can invite 3 people. So you have a table of 4, but do not tell them it's kids. And I'm like, okay, sure. So we go, we wait in line, we load into the restaurant, they come out and they bring you your food and tell you this is blah, blah, blah. And one of my friends is Chef Steph, who is a culinary instructor, was with me, and 2 other chefs. And I think because they felt like they were sort of being filmed on camera, they felt they needed to critique and kind of like, well, this one's a little dry or this one's this. Or, I would plate it differently. Whatever. Everything we had was really pretty good. So they were nitpicking. But then at the end, Gordon comes out. He's like, okay, do you want to meet the chefs that prepared your lunch today? And in walks like the cutest little moppets, these little kids. And, some of them are really tiny.
They're like 8 years old.
Yeah, but like also just short. So they looked even smaller. And my 2 girlfriends burst into tears because Steph is a culinary teacher. And so she just didn't realize that it was kids. So she's like sobbing at like audibly sobbing and literally like, oh my gosh, I didn't know. And finally, Gordon's like, Madam, is it okay? Can we film now? And she's like, I'm sorry. Like it was a mess. It was literally hilarious, but yeah.
Nice. So that was
and then fast
11 years ago.
2013 when that season was taped. And then fast forward, maybe 10 years or not even, maybe like 9 years. Right before COVID, I guess, because it was at LA Chef Conference. Dara was there helping with some CCAP kids. CCAP is Careers Through Culinary Arts program. It's a charity I'm on the board of. And so she was being an awesome mentor and helping chaperone the kids that were volunteering there today. So I finally got to meet her in her new adult version.
Yeah, now I can totally see her being
and now
a great
LA's
mentor.
a small town, so we see each other at different events and we have a lot of mutual friends. So
Sure. All right, so that's us, but we're going to get to Dara in a second. So as usual, thanks for listening. We're going to be talking with Chef Dara Yu. You might have seen her, so spoiler alert, if you haven't watched MasterChef, we're going to spoil the fact that Dara Yu is the winner of Season 12 MasterChef. Also runner-up in the MasterChef Junior Season 1, which is the one Caryl was talking about way back when Dara was 12 years old with all the cute little kids. Since the MasterChef Junior, she has been to culinary school in New York at CIA. And so then she came back in 2022 for the MasterChef Back to Win, and she won it. So we're going to be speaking with Chef Dara Yu. Hey, Dara.
Hi. Thank you so much. I'm very excited. I'm so excited to talk all things food and being Asian and
Yeah,
you guys. So thank you for having me on.
We're excited to have you. This is going to be super fun. So thanks for the connect, Caryl. Let's go back to your roots a little, Dara. So you're from LA.
Yes. Yeah. I'm born and raised in Los Angeles. I in Culver City, went to school here. Basically, yeah, lived here all until I went to CIA in 2019.
Nice. And then your family has roots in China. And then I heard that your grandma's an Aussie?
Yeah. So yeah, my both sides, my mom's side and my dad's side are both from southern China. But my mom's side, they actually immigrated to New Zealand.
Oh,
they were fruit shop owners in Masterton, similar to the gold rush kind of immigration to San Francisco. Yeah. There was also a gold rush trade to New Zealand, and so my family on that side was kind of a part of that. And then my dad's side ended up going to Canada. So roots are, kind of the diaspora is vast as many, Chinese Americans are.
All right, and then who are the cooks in your family? Who are the ones that kind of pass down the knowledge of Chinese cooking to you?
Yeah, I mean, I always and will credit, my grandmother, my maternal grandmother. I mean, both sides, but growing up, I spent quite a bit of time with my mom's side, and when my grandparents moved to South Bend, Indiana, my grandfather was working at Notre Dame, and my grandmother actually started teaching at the community college in South Bend, and she was teaching traditional Chinese cuisines class to students, and it's crazy. She still has all of she's kept all the notes and all the records. Wow. She has all the sign-in sheets from her classes. So definitely was influenced by that. Growing up, from what she's taught my mom, and my mom, growing up around food, definitely was influential. Also, growing up in LA, with my family, that was definitely influential on me. But my family loves to eat, so it just kind of landed on. Somehow I grasped onto it.
I like them already.
Yeah.
So when did you start chopping and chefing things up in your household?
I mean, pretty young. I grew up in the, generation of, Carol's friends with Gianna and a lot of, has worked.
Did you watch Food Network? Were you into it?
Oh yeah. Like so Food Network, I think launched, I think it was 2000, I can't remember the exact date, but like
1999 or 2000.
Yeah, it was early 2000. But I would say, but also this is when I was really involved with it or got really invested in it. Was I feel like the height of Food Network in the early 2000s was 2009 to 10, that kind of time period. At least when I was watching it, and it was Iron Chef and Chopped and Gianna at Home and Next Food Network Star and Cupcake War, all these shows that really were these pivotal kind of moments for food TV and seeing chefs on TV. And so, I grew up watching all those shows. And even earlier than that, the joke is that, my grandma, if she couldn't find me, I'd be by the fridge. And I think I always loved eating. I was always a pretty adventurous eater, and I wasn't very, I wasn't a picky eater. So I just had this, I think, natural kind of born curiosity for food. And then going to, my father was an architect. And before he passed, we were able to travel quite a bit. And he did quite a bit of work in Italy. So, before I was 6, I had traveled, gone to Italy and Japan. So I think also
cool
to that, and different cultures. I think that was such.
Those are both great food countries.
Oh, yes.
So you're 11 and a half. And whose idea was it that you might actually go on a competition show? Did you want to do it? Your family?
Well, that kind of ties into Food Network, and it's a very kind of LA story as well. So I'll kind of give the brief story of it. But so I had loved food TV shows like Chopped, and where Food Networks were my go-to shows to watch after school or watch with my mom. And So my mom and I actually started like playing Chopped at home, and she would like give me ingredients and we'd play Chopped. Or I also at that time, YouTube was also, YouTube was really surging and there were food content creators on there. So I learned a lot through YouTube videos as well. So I just had, I was also going to like cooking camps,
okay.
In LA, which I think is, as I've talked about that, people are like, there's cooking camps for kids, but I loved it. It was, I was the kid that kind of did every type of like summer activity, and cooking camps was one of them.
Tiger mom.
Yeah, no, seriously. Yeah, it was, definitely a shout out to my mom, who is also Caryl.
Oh, that's funny.
Yes. But then, so my mom, kind of the story, how I got into then, so I was like 11, I guess. And my mom had been doing some commercial acting. She's not an actress. She just like very kind of LA story of how she got into it, but like ended up getting cast in a commercial, and it was like for Gardasil, and like making a lot of money from that because it was, a medical commercial, and was like, oh, at that point she was a single mom, and she was like, maybe I could, make some money from doing this on the side. And so she was doing that, and so she had access to all the like casting websites. And saw this casting for a major network kids competition.
Right. Kind of vague.
yes, very vague, and so she obviously she told me the story, so I don't tell it word for word, but she had thought like, oh, maybe this would be something that Dara would be interested in, and actually didn't ask me for a while. And then by the time she asked me and I said I was like, interested in doing it, she went back to the website and the posting was already like taken down. So her being, the lovely mother she is, she like did everything she could to try to find that posting. And so then ended up going to audition for the show, went to an open call that was in like Thousand Oaks, I think, in the Valley somewhere. And then it kind of just went from there. And I don't remember the casting exactly when it was, but we filmed the show like, I think it was like April through beginning of May of 2013.
Wow.
So I had just turned 12.
So then did your mom put you through, like, instead of a tiger mom, more like a chef's mom or anything?
Stage mom. Cook stage mom.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, my mom was very, my mom has always, my sister's an artist and has always been super supportive of just like letting us do whatever we really want to. I mean, we did the very we played piano and but we were definitely more like creative kids. And so I remember like I did like private, I went to Chef Eric's culinary classroom, which is in like West.
I remember Chef Eric,
yeah. And so I remember when the possible, and all these shows, especially back then, it was like they can never tell you you're on the show until like there's cameras in your face.
Right.
Then you sign a contract that's like you may not be on the show. And so, the prep for me at that point, I was like, my mom, how do you prep for, that? Was just cooking, and did some private lessons with Chef Eric to just kind of learn very basic culinary skills or like necessary culinary skills. And then just kind of went into it.
Yeah. And so you show up and so at that point you must have known it would be Gordon Ramsay and Graham Elliott, like at that point, or?
Oh my goodness. I don't even, it's so crazy. I not that I've blocked that time period of my life. I think I just have so much going on now.
Sure, it's a blur. Yeah. Did you watch MasterChef before, like adult MasterChef before?
So we had, so eventually once I was like cast in the show, we were told what show it was. And at that point, there had only been, I think, 3 aired seasons of MasterChef US adult. The only MasterChef Junior that was out was Australia. So I did watch the Australia show like through YouTube videos, MasterChef Junior. And yeah, so we knew it was Gordon Ramsay. I don't remember if they told us all who else the judges were. They might have, but I mean, I really didn't know what to expect going into it. And they're very brief with it, with what they tell you, but they do prepare, especially I think it was the first season and they were working with kids. So they they did prepare us enough to not have, the show's about entertainment and showing that being kids, they don't want kids freaking out on TV.
Yeah. Though there was some crying.
Yes. No, there's still that like meme that goes around that's like, my mashed potato. Like, I have to start my mashed potatoes over. I sometimes get that sent to me. There was a meme of me floating around at some point.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, it did seem like whenever the camera needed someone looking worried, they'd find your face.
Yes, definitely. No, I'm definitely not shy of crying on TV
and expressing yourself.
Yes, I am a very expressive person, so it's hard to not be.
Now, the judges, I think one of the funnest things about that show is the judge-kid interactions. And, those guys can be kind of scary, well, you found that out in season 12, but the judges can be a little scary, but with you guys, they're a little nicer. Was that one of the highlights, is interacting with these adults acting silly too?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, back then, it was Graham Elliott, Joe Bastianich, and Gordon. And I think the only time that I was like kind of scared of Gordon was during the restaurant takeover at Draga's show.
Yeah.
Because like I and the way that I, even though it was scary and he kind of yelled at us also, I remember like there was times when like he was getting to like a heated point and like producers were like pull him back.
Right.
Oh, interesting.
It's like, they as I always say, like, I think there's kind of a different version of Gordon when he's like in a restaurant actually serving people. Like when we would do the field challenges where we'd be feeding like 100+ people, like, that is, actual food that is going to feed people. And like, it does reflect back onto the reputation that he's built for himself and the show and everything. So I get there's that pressure and possible anger that comes up when things are not going right. But other than that, no, it was fun. And, they do a lot of the kind of like gimmicky things and on the show and more entertainment things. So, it was fun. Like we would, call Graham Teddy Bear and like Gordon would come over and mess with us sometimes. And, Gordon has like, well, what now, 6 kids, I think, or 5 kids.
And a lot of daughters. Yeah.
A lot of daughters. Yeah. And so they were just, super supportive.
Yeah.
Even in MasterChef, like and I think maybe towards me, it was a little bit different because I was 20 and then I was from juniors and it was like, I think more of kind of maybe I was seen more in a kind of mentorship vision, but but they can't be scary. But I don't think it's just like a persona, a producer.
Sure. Absolutely. Yeah. All right. So we got to talk about the finals. So you did great though. I mean, they was super close.
Yeah.
But you came in second to Alexander. And there's that moment that everyone knows now. Maybe that's a meme too, where you start hyperventilating and almost...
where I almost faint.
Yeah.
Well, that was like, I know it's funny how they all like cut that in the show. Obviously, I always tell people like, you're watching 45 minutes of a show that's been cut down from some days on juniors, we were filming. The actual filming was maybe like 3-4 hours of actual footage. So, but on MasterChef, we were filming sometimes. We would be on set for 12 hours some days.
Right.
You're watching this. All this happen. There's no way that they can put everything, into 45 minutes. So, that was. I think getting to the finale was really fun and exciting for me. And first time I was really like making a 3-course meal, and but it was like I think that was the most ever like pressure I felt of like, especially it being like that, the kind of arena setting and people, an audience there. And, I think it was just the nerves and not eating or drinking enough and being under hot lights. And
absolutely. Yeah.
It's a lot for a 12-year-old.
Yeah.
So yes, I started to feel a little faint, which I'm sure the producers loved loved and feared.
Dun, dun, dun. Yeah.
Yeah. I know there's the iconic MasterChef like flame cut. Knife sound and they always cut it right at the the cliffhanger.
Yeah, but it was cute though. I mean, Alexander put his arm around you, and then Gordon comes down and peps you up. I think that's really a cute moment. But
yeah.
So after the results, I mean, obviously to get that close, and then you get a little gut punch there. How did you recover after that? What was that like for you as a kid?
I mean, I think that the overall experience was just a pretty positive experience, and I was so close with everyone, and they did make it feel, I think also my support system that I had outside of the show was so incredible, and instead of kind of seeing it as a defeat and a loss, it was made more, into, okay, great, you did that. Let's make it fun, and let's see what else we can do. And so the opportunities that came from that were incredible. And I think that just kind of diving into the deep end with it all, and not kind of willowing on the loss was the best thing that I could have done.
That's huge. Yeah.
I was just thinking too, social media was in a different place in 2013.
Totally.
True.
Yeah, I'm sure you, as a 12-year-old, you weren't on Facebook or
I'm trying to think
MySpace or whatever was happening.
Yeah, my mom was running my Facebook page,
right.
My
You're
Facebook
a kid.
fan page or whatever, and I might have had Instagram, but I was in middle school. I was a 7th.
Instagram was it in 2013? Maybe.
I can't remember exactly, but we started a YouTube channel, and so that and but yeah, social media was still very young at that point.
So maybe that's even better, actually.
No, definitely no. I think about the access that kids now have to Reddit and social media and comments and I mean, that was one thing that I was worried about going back into MasterChef, but I mean, luckily, thankfully, there was not much negativity that I had to face with that. But yeah, it was interesting. I think the after effects of doing that really just changed everything. And I think in a positive way in the moment. I think as I've gotten older and been reflecting on it all, I think there was definitely impacts on my life in all ways, but I think overall it has been just a positive experience. And also now I look back and I'm kind of grateful I didn't win. And I look at it more of I wasn't meant to win, because then I was meant to come and win MasterChef.
Right.
Redemption.
Yeah. Then I made 2.5 times the money,
So after high school, you go to CIA or you worked a little bit?
So high school. Okay. So when I was in high school, MasterChef happened. And then there was kind of this, from 8, I guess the show aired, I was 12. So from 13 until 16, basically, I had been just doing my YouTube channel, doing food festivals. I worked with No Kid Hungry and did Taste of Laguna and Taste of LA. And I was doing some cookie con and doing things like that, and working in restaurants. And so then when I was in high school, I was still kind of a full-time high school student. But then when I was, I guess 14 and a half, 15, every summer, winter, spring break, I would actually go to New York and to go work with Dominic Denzel. So my mom actually had gone to New York on a business trip and gone to Dominic Denzel Bakery in Soho and met him. And my mom, the way she is, told him who her daughter was, and he had actually watched the show.
So Dominique, just to back up for the non-foodies, is a very famous pastry chef based in New York. Now he's French, of course, and worked at Danielle and then opened his own eponymous bakery, famous for inventing the cronut.
Yes.
That's the claim.
So I'd met him, and then, my mom had met him. He invited us to come, or me and Alexander, to come and work at the bakery. So we went and did that. And then I kind of kept going back. And then when I guess I was probably 15 and a half or so, he told me that he was going to be opening a bakery in LA. It was this huge project, the bakery and the restaurant. And so I was on the opening team of that. And that was my junior year of high school.
Oh, wow.
And then I decided to, go to culinary school. And I wanted the college experience, and going to CIA was, the option for me. So decided to go right after high school to do that. And then, I graduated August 2021. And I had applied for a program that was kind of like a 2-2 it was an alliance between CIA and Cornell. So I was I had applied and got into that program to then go to Cornell to study hotel management.
Oh, wow.
And so I graduated August 12th, and I was supposed to move into my dorm August 20th. And I got this like very cryptic email on August 16th.
Oh, wow.
That was basically like, sign this NDA. Like, here's this opportunity that we want to talk to you about. Like, sign this NDA, and like, we'll call you to tell you about it.
Dum dum dum.
Yeah. And then that was kind of the process of the start into getting back to MasterChef.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Because this back to win hadn't existed before, so you didn't know that was ever going to come up, right?
Yeah. No. I mean, it's admittedly, I think once you're on a show, it's quite hard to actually watch the show. I don't know many people who've like been on shows that like continue to watch it. So I hadn't really watched. I think I watched 2 or 3 seasons after mine of Juniors, and I had watched a few seasons of MasterChef, but I kind of got removed from it quite a bit. But I was like, you know what, maybe this would be fun, and at that point, like it wasn't we didn't know that it was like going to be like back to win yet. I think there was like, I can't remember exactly, but we didn't know if like, it was going to be like all stars or going to be like, but then eventually, through casting, they were like, yeah, but it's all going to be like past contestants. And so it was like an internal casting, and
sure. Yeah.
I later learned that, I think I got the call in August, about it, but they had been like reached out to contestants like as early as like May, June.
Oh,
so
wow.
I always wonder, and I should ask some of the producers who I'm friends with now, like, I wonder if adding the juniors in was kind of like a afterthought with casting. But hey, I'm grateful they reached out.
Yeah. Now, that added a cool wrinkle to it, that the 3 of you were so much younger than everyone.
Well, also, I think a really interesting part of it too is like I got there, and a lot of the adult MasterChef contestants like know each other or talk or have worked together. So we got there, and I remember the first day we all got to the hotel, the Marriott in like Topanga Hills, and I remember like, well, we all had to go in quarantine for like 5 days. So we were in our room for 5 days. And the first day that we were all allowed to be let out, like everyone was like going down to the pool area and introducing each other. And I was like, yeah, I'm Dara. Like I was on MasterChef Junior. And I learned that no one really realized that there were going to be junior contestants there. So it was a shock to them that like I was there, which I think, they had all been already previously, texting and calling each other, like trying to figure out who the cast was going to be.
Yeah.
So it was kind of a, surprise pivot of juniors being there.
Oh, do you think they underestimated you guys?
Yeah, I think a bit.
Maybe.
A bit. Yeah. But it was an interesting, the whole reality TV is such an interesting environment and especially casting and how much of it is skill versus personality and
sure. But so this is different though. You're not competing against little kids. First of all, you're not competing against home cooks. These are professionals now. Most of them have some sort of culinary experience. Like Michael's written cookbooks. You have private chefs. You have caterers. And you went to culinary, and other people went to culinary as well. So this is a step up for MasterChef, the competition wise.
Definitely, yeah. And that was like, I think I did kind of have doubt going into it because I had gone to school for pastry, as well. And so like I wasn't really sure with my culinary savory skills. And yeah, there was this bit of like, oh my gosh, I'm like going to be competing against these like, 30 to 40-year-old people work, since their season, MasterChef working, and some of them had a restaurant or some of the, but
yeah,
really went into it just like not overthinking or analyzing that of just like every day I went and showed up and was just like, I'm going to do what I know I can do. And that, hope be enough. And they were pretty supportive. I think I found my people pretty quickly, which was really nice.
Well, and maybe it's the editing, but you did look a little deer in the headlights for a few episodes there. They might have just done the editing to make it look that way, but you looked a little overwhelmed.
Yes. I think, yes, I was definitely overwhelmed. It was definitely a lot to process. And you also don't really have time to process, like, especially with the way that we film. Like, we would film anywhere from like 3 to 5 days a week, but we were like on basically like 5 days a week, either filming interviews or a challenge or doing culinary or whatever. But there would be, even with that, like, there was one where we filmed like 4 challenges back to back, and it's like, 4 people are going home within 4-5 days, and it's like you don't have time to like process that, and it's just kind of like, okay, into the next one, and and so yeah, it was a lot, and definitely it took me a little bit of time to kind of like get adjusted and get into it and understand the kitchens and all of that. I think also a maybe advantage, but also kind of a disadvantage for me was like, this was the first time that going into this structure of the competition, because like everyone else had done, the competition and kind of understood or knew what to expect.
Sure.
Where I had no idea what to expect, which like in the beginning was a little bit of a was struggle, but then I think me not knowing what to expect and being able to have like an open mind about it kind of actually was an advantage for me in the end.
Yeah. But then then they roll out the wine and spirits challenge, and they're like, well, you get only 20, you can't even drink it.
Yeah, which is so funny. That was, and I think that was kind of a prime example of me like really overthinking it. Especially that was like one of the first challenges, and I think they, it was known that I wish that I could have done better in that, but then it set me up for the underdog story.
Sure, yeah, no, I mean, I'll be honest, like I was rooting for you, but 4 or 5 episodes in, it didn't look too good. It looked a little rough.
Yeah, I think I was in the bottom like twice, and it was like, I know, I somehow kept skirting by the skin of my teeth.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite moment from that season?
I think the cake challenge, obviously, like as a baker, I think every time I would walk into the kitchen, I would always be quite a little bit nervous about what was going to happen or what, not really knowing the challenge or how I was going to do. And like, I remember knowing that it was going to be a baking challenge and walking in and just being like, I got this. Let's go.
Yeah.
And that's like the nice scenario for more savory cooks is pastry and baking.
Definitely. Yeah. So that was fun. I think, that was probably one of the more memorable. The field challenges were always a lot. We did like one at a horse town, and then one for the Coast Guard, and
those were
always just very intense.
And Spago, Spago was tough.
Oh yeah, Spago, that was crazy. It's so funny. I saw Chef Wolfgang at LA Chef Con, and I went up to her and I was like, introduced myself, and obviously in an event like that, there's a lot going on, but I was like, I was able to cook at Spago for MasterChef and whatever. And he was like, "Oh yeah, what a shit show."
Never gonna do that again. Yeah.
No, but it's they're all experiences that I've learned a lot from.
Yeah. And then now you guys didn't do that well, but I was really happy when you and Fred partnered up for the for the Beef Wellington one. I mean, you guys are so funny. They just
my gosh, no, Fred is still one of my best friends from the show. I just saw him last week. And Fred and I, it was so funny. We were talking after that. We were like, we need a couple therapy after that. Like, I love Fred so much, but I think that like the way Fred and I are, like we both are kind of like overly anxious, kind of like trying to make sure each other is okay. So we just put that whole challenge. We were just making sure that like we were okay versus like actually just like cooking and doing what we knew to do. Yes, we still joke about our turtle Wellington.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah.
That was great. And again, it was like whenever they needed a reaction, they zoom in on Fred. Whenever they need someone looking worried, they zoom in on Dara.
Zoom in on me. Yeah. Oh my gosh, seriously. I know, because I always look, I know there's that scene in me where I'm like, Fred! Like, yeah, that was I'm surprised we somehow got past that one.
Yeah, that was a little dicey.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. And then actually, maybe a good segue here, just talk a little bit about your Asian roots. Like I was super happy to see some Asian things. You know, Christine Ha came in and threw out some Vietnamese ingredients, and you were like, I got this. This is like being at home. But you brought in Juk. I had never seen Juk on a cooking show before. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. I mean, Juk is, my comfort and sick meal. I've always loved Juk and congee and yeah, it was so cool. Obviously, yes, the Christine Ha challenge. I started crying during that too. But
again,
Christine was like, I watched her season before I was on MasterChef Junior, and she's just so inspiring. I think just as a human and what she's been able to overcome and how she shows up. And I'm actually doing a pop-up dinner with her October 7th in Houston. With her and Evelyn Garcia from Top Chef and Sue, who was on season 11 of MasterChef. But they're all in Houston, and it was like this dream of mine. These three like powerhouse women who have done TV and are like. So I reached out and I was like, hey, could we like do something all together? So yeah, the fact it's crazy because Christine has been like just one of my biggest inspirations, and to see her be able to do what she's been able, to do of what she's done to this point, from the show is incredible. And yeah, I mean, I went into the show knowing that I wanted to just cook what I knew and cook what I, from my heart. And I think I am and this is something that I've really kind of been processing and discovering with myself is my kind of Asian and Chinese roots and heritage, and being a kind of a third culture or third. I mean, technically, I'm like, it's always so confusing because I'm like, my mom was born in New Zealand, but I'm first generation, American, but having such kind of a complex family history, I've always, especially growing up in West Los Angeles, and I wanted to highlight the flavors that I knew and grew up with, and I think that the fact that like a whole challenge, of that with like Vietnamese flavors was incredible. But I also wanted to show that like I take those flavors and those things that I know, but also take inspiration and am able to, kind of mix flavors and cuisines and techniques. And
absolutely,
I feel like I did that pretty well.
Yeah, no, you did. I think it's really cool. So so you end up getting into the final, and I think you really found your stride in the semifinal and then the final. Yeah, you killed this.
6. I mean, the wall challenge was really rough. I, again, thought I was going home then.
Yeah.
But I think, and seriously, like until I think top, there were some competitors who they were like, I'm going to win. Like my goal is to win. And for me, it was just like, I'm going to take every challenge as it comes and see what happens.
Right.
And it wasn't until like top 6, top 5, the semifinals, where I kind of was like, oh wow, like I'm here. The possibility of me winning, and also like seeing who my competition is, like I could really win. So definitely getting through the semis, and those 2 challenges in the semifinals, I was like, okay, I'm going to be in the finale. So like I got to mentally prepare myself to be there.
Yeah. No, you did great on those. I think it just fit your strengths a bit more than the other competitors. You know, the tortellini and the
yes. Oh, definitely. Yeah, the baked Alaska, the tortellini, and I think at that point I just had a confidence in myself in the kitchen and in the competition of that. Like, I was able to just to do it without too much stress and believe in myself.
Yeah.
Sometimes it is about that momentum and peaking too early versus when you're peaking at the right time. So maybe that.
And if the challenges match your skills.
Sure.
Yeah,
well, that's always good.
Yeah. Yes, definitely.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah.
I like that comment. They're like, look at Michael and Christian's stations and look at Dara's station, and you had your me's all laid out.
Well, I think that's also a reflection of culinary school and training and being in restaurants and like I don't, Michael and Mike and Christian, I don't like hadn't ever really worked in restaurants, so as much as they had done like a cookbook and different opportunities, like I think that there are just some skills that are just learned through repetition and through training and
foundational
totally. And so I knew for myself of how chaotic it can get in the that I need to keep myself clean and organized. So
yeah. No, you did great, and you didn't hyperventilate this time. You got through.
No, I was actually I was very calm and prepped.
You actually were,
in the zone.
We did quite a bit of preparation before the finale. In the kitchen. So we, they by that point, like they want you to look good. They want a good finale. Yeah. They want the food to be great. They want, so there were, some behind the scenes, little things preparations that happened, that I think just really helped me feel confident going into it all.
Yeah, and you're cooking your food at that point, you're cooking.
Exactly. Yeah, it was like all my menu. So at that point, it was like it was on me.
Yeah,
it wasn't necessarily
just do what you do.
A challenge theme. It was just like I get to showcase me.
All right, so youngest winner ever.
Yes.
First Angelino ever, also, and first Chinese American winner ever. So these are all cool. You're a lot of first. You're on the wall. I mean.
Yeah. I know, it's actually funny. There was the cast or the crew. The crew always like takes a group photo, and then a lot of them posted after. And like there was like someone had accidentally posted the crew photo with me on one of the screens. Oh. They had like forgotten to take it down before. And so I remember there was like this panic, and they like photoshopped it really quick and sent it out so the rest of the crew could post it. But up on the wall, and it's led to some really cool things. So
yeah, that is cool. That's a title that no one could take away from you. You're there forever. And then so you've done some pop-ups since there. You brought the joke to the masses. And some Yao Tu. That sounds pretty cool.
And it's something that I'm still kind of wanting to. I did that I was pretty ambitious about it. The finale aired like November, and I was like, I'm going to do it in December. And I was like, okay. So I ended up doing it in December or January, beginning of January. And it was a big success. And that was very stressful, but it was fun. And ever since then, I mean, it's been about 2 years since the finale of MasterChef season 12 aired. And I've been, I'm really grateful for the people, coming out of an experience like that, especially holding the secret for 9 months. And then,
that's a long time.
Yeah.
I didn't realize.
Being in this state of limbo of like, well, what do I do? I didn't, I think unlike, the other people who had other contestants who had like a full-time job or like kids to go back to.
Right.
It was kind of, I was in this place of just like, well, I can do whatever I want with it. And as incredible and beautiful as that is, there was also a lot of pressure and pretty stressful to kind of like have to figure that out. But, I met people like Caryl and Brad, Matt Metzger, who's does LA Chef Con. And I have really incredible mentors in LA. So I kind of just reached out to them all and was just like, hey, like I'm trying to figure out this path for myself and really want to just try as much as I can, try as many things as possible that I can do. And I'm still figuring it out.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that comes with being all those first that Curtis was saying. It's like there isn't an example you can follow, right? There's not that person who's already done this. So
yeah, I think there's an aspect of that, but then there's also the aspect of kind of oversaturation of, for me, it's like I don't necessarily have that model, but then there also is, the imposter syndrome of everyone else who is doing it in their own way. So then you feel like you have to be, and I think that is a very extremely common theme and issue that a lot of, everyone kind of faces in every way that they do. But it's I think been just kind of trying to figure out like what for me, like what does that look like? What's going to make me happy? And not trying to be anyone else or model my life or career after anyone else. I think that there's aspects that you can learn from people's careers, but the individuality of life is, figuring out what is going to, those people got to those places because of something that was special about them. So it's like, well, then I can't mimic that to become that person, so it's
all right. We're excited. Huge congrats on everything you've accomplished so far. And you're still only 22, 23, right?
Yeah,
so
23.
You got a lot.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff ahead of you. So we're super happy for you, Dara.
Thank you.
All right. Well, you have survived our difficult questions. Are you ready for the lightning round?
Yes.
If you can handle Gordon Ramsay yelling at you, I think you can handle us.
Say.
All right. What's the dish you're most proud of from MasterChef?
Ooh, I think my finale menu. Yeah.
The short ribs.
Making short ribs in 45 minutes.
Yeah. I love a good short rib. So I think you might have answered this. Who's the competitor that you're closest to still?
Ooh, Fred.
Fred.
Freddie Chang.
Yeah, we love Fred. All right, what mystery? So I know you might be asked to do this, but if you could pick one mystery box ingredient, what ingredient would you choose? I think Caryl chose white truffle when we asked Ming Tsai this question.
Ooh. It's like something I would want or a challenge?
Yeah, so either one. But like if someone were to ask you, what mystery box ingredient would you choose? What would it be? Like, what would you love to compete against other people cooking with?
Ooh. I don't know. This is the first one that's coming to mind. I don't know. I'm thinking about fruit right now. And I don't know why the first one that came to mind was durian, which like I actually I think durian would actually be like a big challenge for me.
I'm sure that would, that'd be hard.
I think it would be fun.
So you cook with that, really. I mean,
you can make like savory. It's hard. Yeah, it's custard. You can do cakes. You can do.
I've never had
durian. It's mostly like with the custards. I'm gonna go with that.
Yeah. All right. So that would be cool. So future MasterChef episode. You never know. Dara might drop a durian on y'all.
Oh my God.
All right.
Yeah. Seriously.
Who's a chef out there that it could be living or deceased. Who's a chef that you would love to cook with?
Ooh. Well, actually, this answer kind of goes for this and I think Kristen Kish. Really, Kristen is a huge inspiration to me.
Sure.
And I think just be like, she is kind of, if anyone, I know that for me, it's like my personal story. There isn't really anyone else who's done it, but like, and I think what I am trying to achieve and the goals are most similar to what Kristen has been able to accomplish. And I think that she's just also very, her and Melissa King both kind of are in that, and Melissa from California. And so there's that connection, but
Kristen's just so freaking cool though. Like she just like when you meet her in person, she's tall and gorgeous and just she dresses in this really cool way.
The
Her
tattoos,
whole energy. Yeah. She just is very cool.
Yeah, I got to do an Iron Chef event when the new Iron Chef kind of premiered. They did an event in Copia, Napa, and I got to assist. And so I got to meet all of them. I met Elton and Kristen and Gabriela, and like it was so cool. That was like such a dream experience.
Dude, I could see an all Asian women chef panel with Dara there, Kristen, King,
like Mylan, oh my gosh, definitely.
Christine, that would be super dope. Yeah, okay. All right, and then we end with our Caryl, make it happen. Come on,
okay, I'm on it. I'm on it.
All right, and we like to end with our signature question. We ask our guests to choose an or more than one infatuation. Infatuation is anyone in the Asian community, could be living or deceased, that you admire. So, Dara Yu, Chef Dara Yu, who is your infatuation?
I think that my infatuation is actually Christine Ha. I think that she is an incredible inspiration for young and not even young, just for Asian Americans. And she is just doing the unimaginable. And for me, definitely, I think the other person I would say, this is someone who just I think I really like look up to and like what they've been is Bing Chen from Gold House. He's like one of the founders of Gold House, and I think just like his energy, I think is so incredible, and his kindness and the work that he does for the Asian community is something that I really aspire to exude and possess. So yeah, those are kind of that are coming to mind.
Absolutely.
Very different, but very cool. But
But there's so many, and I've been very lucky to find a pretty like really supportive community of Asians for within food and entertainment and all aspects. So it's cool when, I love when we can all just come together and support each other. And lift each other's voices up, because I think that's really important.
Love it. Love it. Good choices. All right. I think that does it for our episode. This hour just flew by. We could talk so much more about MasterChef, but thank you so much for coming on, Dara.
Oh, thank you so much. This was great, and I'm happy that we could connect and chat all things MasterChef. It's always love to nod to my roots.
Yeah.
In both sides.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool. And if you want to follow Chef Dara, you can follow her at Chef Dara Yu on social media. And if you want to hear about her pop-ups, if they're coming up anytime soon, you can go to @DineWithDara. And I think, Caryl, you just found her relaunch of YouTube channel. Is it Food for You?
Yes. So I've my YouTube channel and my website. Yeah. So most of my stuff will be posted on my website, which is Food for You, but YU, my last name,
right?
Foodforyou.com. And then been going to be launching some YouTube videos, which is also kind of Food for You, or if you just look up Chef Dara Yu. I'm just really excited to continue to share my journey and help, hopefully inspire more people to want to get into food and be that next generation of chefs and diversity within food and TV. So
perfect.
Just trying to, do my part.
Yeah, do your part. All right. And then as I always mention, you can write to us at infatuasianpodcast@gmail.com. Give us a follow on Instagram and Facebook at Infatuasian Podcast. I'll put all these details in the show notes, including my sister's Instagram. What are you, at Caryl Chin?
Very original, at Caryl Chin.
At Caryl Chin, 2 N's in Chin on Instagram. And so on behalf of Chef Dara, Caryl, and myself, we hope that you're all happy, healthy, and safe out there. We'll talk to you soon. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.